All right, for my next proof, I have two premises I'm given. First premise says H. That's all it says, just H. And the second premise is rather complicated. It says if H or H, then bracket, if K, then not L or M. Close bracket. And I'm supposed to prove, and again this is going to be a conditional proof, supposed to prove that if K, then not M. Now this one's a little complicated, so I'm going to pause for a second before I launch straight into the conditional proof. Look over here at my premises. Ultimately, fairly clearly, I think if I'm doing a conditional proof, I'm going to be assuming K and trying to show that I can get to not M. That'll be the conditional proof part of it. But looking at the premises, when I look for where the K and the M's are, I see them on this side of this conditional, right? They're on the consequent of this big conditional. So I'm starting to think that it actually might be just a little simpler if I go ahead, before I do my conditional proof, if I go ahead and try to get rid of this antecedent, right? So I can just work with the conditional, the consequent over here. And the way I'll do that is just using modus ponens. I'm looking here, I need to use modus ponens on this conditional, I need to prove H or H, but I have H right here, so I can just use tautology on line 1 to get H or H. And then by modus ponens, I can get if K, then not L or M. And at that point, I think I'll be set up pretty well for doing my conditional proof. Because if I know that if K, then not L or M, I should be able to assume K for a conditional proof and get to not M. I'm guessing, just looking at this consequent over here, that De Morgan's is going to be involved. So let me just quickly work that through if I can. Line 3. There I'll just say, okay, well I know H, so I know H or H. That's going to follow from line 1 by tautology. Now that I know H or H, then I know if K, then not L or M. If K, then not L or M. And that's going to be through lines 2 and 3 modus ponens. 2, 3 modus ponens. Right. Now line 5. I'm sorry the shadow on the videos is a little bit, makes it a little bit difficult to see sometimes, but I'm working at home today and it's just my desk lamp. So now I have what I want. I have if K, then not L or M. Actually, I shouldn't have written that over there, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a conditional proof where I assume K, so I need to indent. So line 5 here is going to be where I assume K. That's going to be my assumption for conditional proof. Again, I don't need a line number for the assumption. And then line 6, now I can get to not L or M with since I've assumed K. So not L or M. And that's going to be through lines 4 and 5 modus ponens. Once I know not L or M, well then De Morgan's tells me if the disjunction is false, then neither disjunct can be true. So I know not L and not M by line 6, De Morgan. And once I know not L and not M, then I can get not M by simplifying. So not M, line 7, simplification. All right? And now that I got my not M, now I know I've gotten my conditional proof done. All right, so I can mark that off. And I simply come back over and have my conclusion here, which is if K, then not M. K, then not M. And that follows from lines 5 through 8, conditional proof. All right.